Well, this escalated quickly. Skip it up and that up. So Dead Cells, which is considered a Metroidvania roguelike kind of 2D Dark Souls-esque, I heard all these different phrases for this game, was just officially released for multiple platforms, the PC, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, so on and so forth. It was actually in early access since May 10th of last year, but its first official release was actually today. And the game has been receiving a lot of praise. As of now on Metacritic, its average scores for the PC is 92. It is 91 for the Nintendo Switch. It has an average score of 88 for the PlayStation 4, and for the Xbox One, it has an average score of 89. Obviously, as more reviews are posted on Metacritic, these scores could fluctuate, but as of me making this video, that's where the scores for Dead Cells for all the different platforms stands. And hell, IGN's Filip Miucin, I think I'm saying the last name right, gave the game a 9.7. That's a damn high score, and due to giving Dead Cells that high score, the IGN review garnered a lot of attention. And it garnered so much attention that another YouTuber named Boomstick Gaming realized that, hey, Filip plagiarized my review and basically copied it word for word. Now, before I actually watched Boomstick Gaming's video proving that Filip actually plagiarized his review literally word for word, I'm going to show you in a second, I was thinking to myself, look, man, I've been accused of plagiarism in the past before. I was accused of plagiarizing Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks' opinion on a subject matter where we were both covering the same topic, and I was accused of, and this one's actually funny, but I was accused of copying Dreamcast Guy's opinion on a topic that we both covered. And the shit kicker to that one was I didn't even watch Dreamcast Guy's video yet. So I guess I was plagiarizing his opinion through my psychic powers. But whatever, my point being is that even though plagiarism is a serious allegation, and when people are guilty of it, there's serious consequences to it, it's kind of something that's just like thrown around regularly. So when someone's accusing someone else of plagiarism, it's like, all right, whatever, everyone does that. Let's see if it actually really happened. But it did. Take a look at a couple snippets from Boomstick Gaming's video where he proves that Filip copied his review word for word. Here, take a look.
First off, this is the Boomstick Gaming, that's myself. Let's go ahead and start. In most games of this genre, your coolest skills and spells are often set to strictly long recharge timers or a limited mana system. But in Dead Cells, your abilities have incredibly quick recharges and allow you to seamlessly integrate these gadgets into normal encounters, and it doesn't make you feel penalized for using your cool stuff.
Most games limit your most useful skills with long cooldown timers or a limited mana system, but Dead Cells encourages you to use your deadliest gadgets with a fast recharge timer. It never punishes you for using your best tactics.
This combat system is fast, fluid, responsive, and one of the most rewarding representations of 2D combat of the entire genre.
Fights are fast, fluid, responsive, and hands down one of the most gratifying representations of video game combat I've ever experienced.
Also in place is a mutation system that has you pick from various buffs that can enhance and alter your abilities, but
system, which adds another layer of diversity to how you can play. This is where you can choose from various buffs that enhance and alter your abilities.
Alright, and last but not least, we have my absolute favorite, which starts at 307 on both videos exactly. Dead Cells figures out an intriguing way to have your roguelite and Metroidvania experience all in one by focusing on your failures and urging you to try something new the next time.
Dead Cells strikes a perfect and engaging balance between the Metroidvania and roguelite experiences by focusing on your failures and urging you to experiment each time you do fail.
Oh, for Christ's sake, man. Filip didn't even try to hide the fact that he plagiarized Boomstick Gaming's review. I encourage you to go watch the whole video with even more evidence from Boomstick Gaming proving that Filip from IGN plagiarized his review. It's very interesting and very damning. I'll have a link to it below in the description. But one thing I will say is that Alex from Boomstick Gaming is also being very gracious about it. He was interviewed by Forbes magazine, and this is what he had to say about the whole situation. I have no knowledge of any of my other content being used by anyone else online. IGN. I have regularly frequented IGN for about 2 decades now, and you can imagine my surprise when I was perusing their latest review and started to slowly notice my sentence structuring as well as my own thoughts being used throughout the review. At this time, I have not been contacted by IGN, but I would like to be cited, collaborated with, and compensated for the healthy ad revenue they pulled in on both their written review and video review. As for the author Filip, this was his first video review for IGN, and it is slightly understandable to seek knowledge from someone who has done multiple reviews before. I foster no ill will towards Filip and do not encourage firing of this gentleman because I have been unemployed, business closure, for 6 months now and would not wish this burden on anyone. I have been doing YouTube since 2006 as a hobby and have found somewhat of a following in 2018. A few months ago, I started a Patreon that attempts to help me continue what I enjoy doing by accepting donations from fans of my videos, but have seen little to no success. Well, Alex from Boomstick Gaming, the whole thing where you're hoping that IGN doesn't fire Filip for plagiarizing your review, well, they did. They actually released an update via their website and Twitter today talking about the situation, and this is what they had to say. We've reviewed the allegations against one of our writers regarding our review of Dead Cells. After taking the time to investigate, we've determined that there were substantial similarities between a review posted weeks earlier and our review that could not be justified and warranted taking down. Though we as a community often share feelings and even certain word choices to describe the games we love by using similar frames of understanding, this particular situation stepped over the line and is not a reflection of our editorial standards. We apologize to our readers, developer Motion Twin, and most especially the YouTuber known under Boomstick Gaming for failing to uphold those standards. We take our review process seriously. In most cases, reviewers are expected to play a game's single-player or story campaign to completion at least once, as well as spend additional time capturing gameplay to supply content to the video component of our reviews. Though our Dead Cells reviewer played the game and came away with glowing opinions of it, as did many of our staff members, the review itself was simply not acceptable. We've parted ways with the writer involved in the review, and we will be re-reviewing Dead Cells this week. We will work tirelessly to ensure that regardless of whether you agree with our reviews, you can have faith that every word is nothing less than genuine opinions of our critics. Nothing is more important to us than your trust. Now, I know that Boomstick Gaming didn't want to see Filip fired, but you see it on YouTube all the time, man. People love to hate IGN. And after a debacle like this, could you imagine if they kept Filip on board? Every time he reviewed something, even when he didn't review things, you would have people in the comment section, oh, how could I trust IGN reviews? They have a guy who plagiarizes still working for them. Oh, did Filip plagiarize this review too? Oh, did this reviewer plagiarize this review from another YouTuber? You know, even if they fired the guy, they fired Filip now, you know that there's going to be people who are not going to let this go for years upon years on end and are going to talk shit in the comment section of IGN reviews from like here on out. So even with him fired, this is still going to be a huge blemish on IGN. If they kept him, it would have made the company implode. So they couldn't have kept Filip on board. And besides that, plagiarism, whether it be at a university, a high school, junior high school, doesn't matter. Plagiarism is taken very seriously and it could destroy careers. So yeah, this is protocol, man. You cannot keep a reviewer who plagiarized an entire review almost word for word. Again, check out Boomstick Gaming's video proving that as one of your employees. It's not acceptable, and it would destroy the company if they kept Filip on board. Now to my buddy Filip Miucin, however you say his last name. Dude, what the hell were you thinking? The internet doesn't miss a trick. I'm gonna bring up some old school drama. You guys remember the Calico Chameleon? Okay, the whole thing with Mike Kennedy, that gem of a human being that he is. And if you remember towards the end when they were trying to prove that they had a prototype of that retro console, the Calico Chameleon, they showed it in clear casing and they showed a motherboard inside of it. And in the beginning, everyone's like, okay, cool, they finally have a prototype. Mike Kennedy came through with his team and came out with a prototype. But the internet doesn't miss a trick. Someone figured out, and it's how they did it, it's amazing. People figured out that the motherboard that they showed to prove their prototype, okay, was actually a capture card, an old school PCI capture card. Someone sat there, looked at where the chips were placed on the motherboard, and said, nope, that's a capture card. That is not an actual motherboard in there. Mike Kennedy and his team of goons are trying to trick us again. My point being, it's a different situation. It's not plagiarism, but people will always figure out if you're doing something shady. They will always figure out. And I know what Filip was thinking. Oh, it's a smaller YouTuber. Now Boomstick Gaming, he's about to hit 30,000 subscribers. But before this whole drama, he was at 14,000 subscribers. And he was thinking, all right, I'm behind with things. I watched Dreamcast Guy's video on this, and I think he's kind of friends with Filip, and he's saying that Filip was stressed out and behind like a whole bunch of projects. And what Filip was probably thinking was, all right, no one really knows this Boomstick Gaming. I could just flip around a couple words and no one will catch on with what I did. But man, I'm telling you, I don't care if Filip copied a review from a guy with 3 subscribers. Someone would figure it out. The internet doesn't forget, and the internet doesn't miss a trick. And Filip, you put like no effort into hiding the fact that you plagiarized the review. You almost just copied it word for word. You didn't think, and 14,000 subscribers for a channel isn't super small. That's it's not a huge following, but it's enough where if a guy's review is plagiarized and he has 14,000 followers, either he's going to figure it out or one of those 14,000 followers are going to figure out, hey, Alex, your review, I think the guy over at IGN kind of ripped it off. Like, did you really think you were going to get away with this? No way, man. Absolutely no way. Even if it was someone with 1 subscriber, you should have not done this. You were better off going to IGN saying, look, I'm way too behind with other projects. I may have to duck out on doing the Dead Cells review. And you probably would have still had a job and your entire career wouldn't have been ruined. Do you think that Filip Miucin, however the hell you say his last name, do you think he's going to be able to get a job working anywhere else after he was publicly called out for plagiarizing? Hell no. He's done, man. You better hope McDonald's is hiring. Now look, I use articles, obviously, all the time. Hell, in this video alone, I directly quoted Forbes magazine, Boomstick Gaming, and IGN. But I always give credit to the sources in the video and in the description of my video. And I wonder if there was a parallel universe where Filip actually went to Boomstick Gaming and said, hey, man, maybe we could work something out, and he gave him some money, or he would give him a portion of the ad revenue or whatever, and he could have credited Alex from Boomstick Gaming in his Dead Cells review. I'm sure, maybe IGN would have been thrilled with it, like, dude, Filip, what's the matter, man? You can't handle all your workload? Like, what's the deal? But at least it would have had a much better ending than this. Just give credit, man, when you use sources. I always do, and don't plagiarize. Don't plagiarize, because there is dire consequences, as you see. This is Rich, Review Tech USA, signing out. Have a good one.